New York Times best-selling author of The Ultimate Gift, The Art of Productivity, Your Competitive Edge by Jim Stovall. Chapter 1: The Art of Beginning. In our society, we tend to separate all endeavors into either art or science. While art is creative, it also contains elements of science through balance, form, and perspective. Science, while being very organized and regulated, contains artistic elements of creativity and expression. In this book, you will begin to see productivity toward your goals from both perspectives. I am grateful to you and everyone who takes the time, effort, and energy to buy and read one of my books. By virtue of the fact that you selected this book, I assume that there are aspects of your life you would like to change, develop, or improve. If this is the case, read on. If this is not the case and you are truly satisfied with every area of your personal and professional life, stop reading this book immediately and go get your money refunded that you spent to purchase this book. This may be the third book you have read this month, or on the other hand, it may be the first book you have read since high school. I have had an interesting relationship with books throughout my life. For the first 3 decades of my life, I don't know that I ever read an entire book cover to cover. I got through high school and even college by reading as little as necessary to matriculate through the process. This seems ironic to me today because when I had my eyesight, I could read the words on a page as you are doing now. I never did it. Then, at age 29, I began my life as a totally blind person, and from that day to this one, thanks to audiobooks from the library for the blind and a high-speed digital player, I have actually read a book every day. When you go 30 years completing a full-length book each day, you form a unique relationship with books. They have become a major part of my life. I read books for entertainment, I read books for information, and after reading many thousands of books, I can state with certainty I have read a handful of books for transformation. These books have impacted me so deeply that they have changed who I am and how I live my life. My fervent hope is that this book will be that kind of transformational experience for you. Within these pages, you will have the opportunity to define your own business. Sorry, define your own success, create a life mission to achieve success, forge productivity on your own terms, and then begin to succeed by effectively utilizing motivation, communication, and implementation. As an author, columnist, and speaker in the field of personal development, I have been exposed to many success systems, theories, and philosophies. They are they all have a certain degree of validity, but I feel in many ways the current state of art in the field of success and achievement is lacking a critical component. There are many books or systems that will teach you to set a goal, create milestones, pursue your passion, and make changes in the world. These are important steps, but unless you have the practical tools to achieve and succeed your fingertips, you don't have a chance. Let's assume that I wanted to be a champion golfer. I could have this firmly established in my mind as a goal, pursue it with passion, and exhibit the highest degree of determination. But without practical, realistic instructions, I would be doomed to failure even if I sought advice from the best golfer in the world. If indeed the legendary champion Jack Nicklaus himself gave me lessons, I wouldn't have a chance unless his instructions were mechanically sound and specific to me. If Mr. Nicholas simply told me to hit the ball further than anyone else, straight down the fairway, and never forget to make every putt inside of 20 feet, and then left me to my own devices, my game would never improve, and my goal of being a champion golfer would go to my grave with me, just as most people's passions, desires, and goals go to their graves with them. However, if my instruction included mastering motivation, communication, and implementation, as you are going to discover through the art of productivity, I would have the opportunity to succeed as a golfer. Before you learn to master and apply these principles, it is vital for you to decide what changes you want to bring into your life. In order to make this kind of decision, you first need to establish where you are today and take full responsibility for your current state in every area of your life. Only when you accept the responsibility for your past that has resulted in your current condition can you then take control of your actions today, which will create your future success tomorrow. We live in a society full of people who love to blame their mediocrity on everyone and everything other than themselves. As a corporate and arena speaker, I have had the privilege of talking with literally millions of people. After some of these events, I have a chance to visit with people who have sat in my audience. Oftentimes, these people share with me that their life is not where they want to be. They are not pursuing their passions nor reaching their goals, but they invariably hasten to add, if you knew my family, you would know why I'm not succeeding. Or I'm where I am today because my boss is an idiot and the weather's too hot and the taxes are too high. And besides that, Jim, I'm a middle child. When it comes to failure, one excuse is about as good as another. In fact, the next time your life is not turning out the way you want it to be, don't blame anyone else. Just use my world famous Jim Stovall one size fits all 100% money back guaranteed excuse for all situations. Here is how it works. Instead of blaming everyone and everything around you for your condition, simply locate the nearest mirror, look directly into it, and say the magic words. I guess I really didn't want it that badly. This will work for you every time because unless or until you accept responsibility for the choices you have made in the past that have brought you to this place, you can never take control of your future. Now, I can imagine you thinking that I don't understand your situation, your background, and the barriers you face. This is true, and as a blind person myself, I certainly realize that bad things can happen to good people. But for every person you can show me who has been defeated by a given circumstance, I will show you someone else facing that same circumstance who has used it as a springboard to do greater and more significant things in their lives. Before you determine where you want to go in the world, there is one critical navigational element. You must first establish exactly where you are. Maps, directions, and even global positioning devices can only help you reach your destination if your current position has been established. If you want to be wealthy before you decide what wealthy means to you, you'd better establish your current financial position. If you want to lose weight, you've got to get on the scales today. If you want to create the lifestyle of your dreams in every area of your personal and professional existence, you've got to be totally honest with yourself and elicit the honest opinions of those around you. This honest assessment is a difficult process because we have a tendency to judge everyone else's performance while judging our own intentions. It's easy for us to smugly assert without reservation that the other guy has inexcusably late for his appointment. But when we find ourselves running behind schedule, we somehow come to the conclusion that we weren't late. It was simply that we missed every traffic light, we had to stop for gas, and who knew that there would be traffic jam, a detour, and road construction en route to our destination. If you're going to live the life of your dreams through the art of productivity by mastering motivation, communication, and implementation, you're going to have to be totally honest with yourself about where you are. The most destructive lies we ever tell are those lies we tell ourselves, because after a while we start to believe these falsehoods and begin sharing them with the world as they are true. One of my favorite actors, Jack Nicholson, in one of his best movies, convincingly created a character who uttered the famous words, "You can handle the truth." While it's not easy and never fun, I want you to know you can handle the truth, and it will be your first step toward making your life everything you want it to be. As you accept responsibility for where you are, the choices you have made, you will begin to discover that while you have made some bad choices, in many cases you are mired in mediocrity because you have made no choice at all. I believe that in this world there are a few people who make good choices and they enjoy every reward they seek. There are a few people who make bad choices and they live in places like Leavenworth and San Quentin. But then there are the vast majority of people who make neither good nor bad choices. Instead, they make no choice at all. These are the people who neither make things happen nor even watch things happen. They simply don't realize that everything happened. I am reminded of a story about Irish immigrants coming to the United States during the earliest part of the 20th century. One particular family saved for many years to get the passage for the mother, the father, and three children. Even with all of their efforts and diligence in saving their money, there were only they were only able to purchase a ticket in what was known as steerage. This was a small cramped area below decked where they had to sleep and pass the many days of transatlantic voyage. The family had brought some bread, cheese, and water with them to sustain them through the journey, but they rapidly consumed all of their rations, with many days left in the voyage. From their squalid quarters below deck, they could see through the cracks between the planking onto the main deck above them. They observed first-class passengers dressed in all of their finery devouring a sumptuous banquet just a few feet away from where they were literally starving. Finally, in desperation, the father crawled down the passageway and stepped up onto the main deck and asked one of their stewards if he could have a few scraps or leftovers, lest his family starve to death below deck. The shocked steward replied, "Sir, this banquet is provided 3 times daily for all of our passengers. You and your family have been starving when you could have been feasting on the very best of all along. Before you launch into your quest, you make your life everything you want it to be through the art of productivity. Be sure you have set your sights high enough. A person who doesn't have a choice is no better off than a person who doesn't have a choice at all. But a person who accepts less than their true destiny is is relegated to a life of mediocrity. When you have seen yourself in your mind's eye on top of the world, anything less will leave you wanting. We all had dreams and secret passions inside of us for many years. When we were teenagers or young adults, the world seemed pregnant with possibility. But somewhere between there and here, this thing called reality set in, and we got so busy making a living that we forget to create life. Your destiny awaits. New York Times best-selling author